Hey guys, my name is Bryce. Welcome back to another deck profile I'm doing after a pretty major hiatus, as I'm sure you can imagine. So today I'm going to be doing a deck profile on a deck I haven't done in quite some time. So you can kind of imagine this deck is all about Lair of Darkness, as I've kind of got a playmat which is meh, kind of on theme. But aside from that though, let's get on with the profile. So we've got our extra deck over here. Get to that in a minute. Our tokens and our side decks. We're going to start the main deck first, beginning with monsters. So to begin with, running one Blackwing Steam the Cloak. Why? Well, because you can Foolish Burial it, you can Armageddon Knight it. There's a few ways to get in the graveyard to bring up the tribute thing. And really that's the main objective of this. There's not a whole lot of advantages to normal summoning in it. You can technically link it away into Salamangreat Almirage to get the token and have a link to and things like that for tribute options. However, I'm just choosing not to go down that route due to other things in the toolbox to go with instead, but more than welcome to. Next is Tour Guide from the Underworld. Normal this out. Hey, speaking of which, bring out Lilith with her effect turned off. She's got 2000 attack, but she can still tribute for cost and then just not do her main claim to fame. It's pretty nice removal, and then you've got two materials for linking, or you can kind of keep this around because it is a quick effect and do something else with her. Then I run 3 Lilith, as pretty much all decks are almost guaranteed to when you're running Lair of Darkness. She is so incredibly useful and excellent part of the deck for being able to quick effect tributes, and there's quite a few traps being run in this deck, but there's a decent amount of spells as well to maybe have your opponent think twice about siding only against something like this. Next I have one Phantom Skyblaster. Speaking of ways to go into linking into things, also sorry for the glare if that's going to be a bit of an issue for you guys to read, but effectively with this one is, if you're starting a board and this is your best normal summon, unfortunately, you can go into a link 2 and do things from there. Otherwise, if you've already got just one monster in the field, you've got 4 materials to count this, the 2 tokens it brings out, and your monster originally there for something else. It doesn't actually happen all that often for a control deck to be able to bring out quite a few materials, so that's nice. Next, Armageddon Knight. Great synergy with Diabolus, Lord of the Lair, as well as our first Blackwing Steam the Cloak. Can even just be targeted for tribute fodder for Steam the Cloak to bring out Diabolos from your hand or something like that, so quite nice, but yeah, it's so generic. Most of this deck is just running dark things in the deck to be sent to the graveyard, so that works out quite well. Next, Arima the Wicked Warden. It's again a staple 3 of for being able to be another copy of the field spell, as well as just the draw / potential search thing that it has is quite a great effect as well, so quite like that. Next, I'm main decking Artifact Lancia. The reason you can guess is I also have Artifact Scythe in here. If I don't have one target, the chances of having both in hand, starting, and having the trap card would be brutal, but mathematically that's very unlikely. And even so, the fact that this one happens to tribute as its ability might have something come up for generated tokens if it's Sky Strikers your opponent's dealing with or something like that to load up their field so that their spells can't resolve or something like that, because we're still dealing with Sky Strikers most likely into 2020. Don't quote me on that too long in the meta, but there you go. And then Scythe is kind of like the main benefit for me, being able to search out, thanks to 3 Liliths into Artifact Sanctum. This is super strong. This definitely gave such a huge boost to the deck, which I was sort of lacking of really establishing control on top of other things, and it doesn't have any sort of tribute synergy, but mana's is super great, so I like that quite well. Next, I'm only running 2 Diabolos. Opening it with in your hand is pretty good. Being able to send it to grave for something else, and then just bring it back later from tributing and everything is kind of more ideal, I would say, but I think running 3 in this deck doesn't happen enough to justify it. Like, you'd want to be tributing your own monsters quite a bit to have that work out. Next, I've got 1 Monster Gate, which is kind of just another copy of, you know, any kind of random monster you come across, but I don't want to mill out too many spells and traps along the way. Next, 1 Terraforming. Gosh, you need this card. It'd be nice to have 2, but, you know, check the timestamp for when this was released. 1 Foolish Burial. Quite great, quite versatile. Normal spell, gotta love that. Set Rotation. Not every deck needs to run this, but I quite like it for the other field spell you'll see in a second. But the fact it's a quick play, yeah, great factors for that, for flexibility and everything. Then Enemy Controller. Love this card. It's been doing so much work for me ever since I, you know, kind of got my hands on this along with the deck. Yeah, it's just a great way to turn around for the cost of just making sure you have that field spell out. The benefits to this is just phenomenal. And hey, if you even happen to, you know, Enemy Controller going second with the field spell out, and you've got Phantom Skyblaster, hey, congratulations, you got a, you know, enough material then once you normal summon after Enemy Controlling, you know, tributing one of your opponent's monsters and taking control of the other. You've got 1 monster, then Phantom Skyblaster, then 2 tokens. You got a rank 4 link that you could possibly make, so that, I kind of love that. So I love it so much I have it not once, not twice, but thrice. And then Sky Striker Mecha Hornet Drones. Yeah, it's just a great token generator for going first or second, just to loop into Kagari and then get it back, and then you got 2 link materials, as well as just being, you know, something that can be used in kind of a variety of different things. If there was space for Engage, man, I would absolutely run it, but I'll wait and see if there's anything else I can kind of trim out for space, but I'm liking just this for now. In terms of really good cards, just to keep this as a staple now from now on, is the fact that dude came out with Super Polymerizations meant I kind of was deciding to get 3, and it's absolutely been worth it. By having Starving Venom Dragon is just a great way to absorb things. I don't have the fusion that takes 3 yet, nor can I pronounce the name properly, so sorry about that. But yeah, I would absolutely upgrade to having 1 of those, and then maybe even 2, well, let's say 1 Starving Venom Dragon for sure, as well as, you know, Mud Dragon of the Swamp. But anyway, yeah, excellent card. And Mystic Mine, and I do not like this card, don't get me wrong. Don't like playing against this. This is not a burn deck, is what I keep telling my opponents. And then they kind of nod and kind of go, it is a Lair of Darkness deck. That would be a bit strange. But no, basically this is to stall for a bit, draw some cards, if everything else is kind of under control, and, you know, let's even just say that you're, you know, tributing your own Lilith away in some kind of desperation. You would only do that under the most secure situations, in this case being having Mystic Mine out. Hence why you have set rotation and everything. And if you're thinking, man, giving Lair of Darkness to my opponent is going to be an issue, could be. But the last time I saw other people playing Lair of Darkness, even at a locals, is it's been quite some time by this point, let's put it that way. But I'm having quite a bit of fun with the deck. And yeah, of course we're running 3 of these, pretty self-explanatory. 1 Metaverse, I quite like it, being able to search out this from Lilith or other means. Waking the Dragon, I'm only running 1 of it, but in my main deck, yeah, if your opponent does have, you know, Twin Twisters or something else, they're going to definitely prioritize taking out the field spell. However, they definitely know as well that your next biggest threat is just going to be something on the field. The fact that this one's saying that if it has left the field because of an opponent's effect, but it also says, and is now the graveyard or banished, you can special summon 1 monster from your deck or extra deck. That card, of course, being, well, in my particular case, I like Ultimate Falcon. There's a couple other things you can pick from that, but that's my personal choice. With Waking Dragon, be aware that Salamangreat spinning this back into the deck is gonna hurt, but you just have to live with that and find other ways to deal with it. Possibly dropping a Scythe on them or something like that instead. Speaking of artifacts, we have 2 copies of Sanctum. Really like this card, and I think only 2 is kind of what both works for room in the deck, as well as my budget. And the fact that we're also running something that'll help search as long as you've got 2 of a card, which you can kind of guess in a second. We've got Compulsory Evacuation Device. Yeah, it's a weird platinum rare, but it's a dark deck. I feel like I can kind of get away with some weird rarities in this. I like 2. I'll be able to search for it fairly easily, and originally I was actually running 2 copies of Mass Change 2, but discarding cards as well as having a monster that I can send that doesn't really synergize with traps or synergize with tributes or anything like that kind of left me feeling I'd rather have some other super generic removal, as well as possibly being able to bounce back one of my monsters to the hand if, you know, I'm worried about like a board wipe of some kind and I was going to be losing that anyway, or, you know, something that's just really good on summon, for example. And then I've got 3 Trap Trick. Been super happy about this reprint to bring all the cost of it down, and it's absolutely worth it in this deck, because effectively for each one of these you can just subtract one of the really good normal trap cards you have, so that's why I'm only running 2 Compulsive 2. It's also budget-wise that I'm running just 2 Sanctums, but yeah, this is fantastic. With Lilith you can kind of keep your opponent guessing a little bit longer, or what I normally do is just, you know, run 2 of the trap I want, and then 1 Trap Trick to make sure I'm always getting that one I want, which is quite nice. So 3 of these, and then 2 Radicator Virus is also what I'm running. This one is mixed in from the side deck. But yeah, super strong. It's a great spell or trap removal. You gotta pick one, but if you're fairly well researched in what decks you're up against, you know, just from watching a few profiles online before you go out to locals or something, or regionals, etc., yeah, you'll kind of know which one to hit. Generally, spells are a little bit more popular, but it's only when you're, in my case, facing against, you know, for example, you know, Thunder Dragons and things like that, and they're only running Sekka's Light, then it's kind of a loss. But at least you get to, you know, have some hand knowledge, and also get to check what cards people draw if you last that long against them, which I typically don't. But there's that. So then next I've got a couple tokens, which I suppose are worth sharing. This one's from the Monarchs. This one we've got as our Sky Blaster token, and then we've got 2 Torment tokens. I actually only bought originally 2 of the structure decks because I knew after a little while of the hype dying down, I definitely got all the other staples I needed of 3 Liliths and another Lilith and another field spell and things like that. So I think that was well waited for. Now for the side deck, this is where I really go into, how can I actually draw what I need to draw? So I go about that by having 3 Danger Bigfoots. One of them looks a bit weird. This is just really because I'm a little bit patriotic. In that I mean Bigfoot, aka like the Sasquatch, is from BC, my home province. So I actually had a friend back home mail me this one from Canada, which is kind of fun. I've got a bit of Scottish background, so of course I have a soft spot for Danger Nessie. Pogo Pogo, on the other hand, I'm not playing that many dangers, and I don't play any of the spells. Not going to talk about the traps, therefore I can't really justify it. But Nessie for sure is great, of just being able to search out Bigfoot, or potentially Chupacabra. Shout out to my friends from Mexico. Yeah, this is also, I think, worth running, and it's also only a level 4, so at the time it made sense with Dark Claw and a few other things. But aside from that, I'm kind of running these 5 as a package, in order to sort of dig deeper into my deck, especially going second, Not too many situations where going first this makes a lot of sense. I'm only running one Francotrops, just a little bit more removal and everything, but again, definitely knowing that I'm going second. Then this one is where you're totally welcome to not do the same thing I'm doing. I like Fang of Critias, Mirror Force Launcher, I'm not kidding, and then 3 Mirror Force. So the idea behind this is that Mirror Force Dragon, I'm just going to bring it up and show you guys. You're not running too many extra deck cards, and should the deck you're up against really care about battles such as Dragon Maids or something like that, when a monster you control is targeted for an attack or by an opponent's card effect, destroy all cards your opponent controls. Just no targeting or anything like that. And Mirror Force is something that not a lot of people see coming from, especially something that's so focused on tributing. They're going to be having that top of mind. But then this kind of comes out of nowhere, and if they're also used to, hitting on your back row by, game 2 or game 3, hitting Mirror Force Launcher just kind of, laughs at them a little bit, which is kind of useful in, making them think twice about something, especially if you end up losing your field spell in a Twin Twister scenario. This gives you a little bit of, security as long as you're not playing against rockets or something like that. And then 3 Lair of Darkness to go along with the, additional dark monsters that you can use for banishing and things like that. It seems very weird not to run it in the main deck, I acknowledge that, but I think just from the choice of having as few, main deck dark monsters as I do, that balance seems to make sense for me. At least for now with this current build. So, finally on to the extra deck. So we've got Ultimate Raptator, Ultimate Falcon, just the big monster that is unaffected by other card effects. So I quite like that as only waking the dragon target. And we've got Topologic Bomber Dragon. This is my only link for it. You're certainly welcome to go with one of the Borload, Sword Dragons, etc. I do have those for other decks, however in this one, just having your token appear at the end of the turn to where one of these is pointing at and just nuking the board of monsters and everything is pretty nice removal. Doesn't worry about also if this card attacked an opponent's monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the monster's original attack. It's not piercing damage, but attacking against tokens, you do a bit of burn, which is not so bad. In terms of attacking with other things, Power Code Talker, if you're able to bring out, 3 monsters in a turn, which is not terribly difficult in this deck, and you tributed that turn somehow, at the end phase, you're going to be able to just, if this is the extra monster zone, special summon a token right to where it's pointing. Your opponent won't want to attack over this and find another way to remove it. So as long as you can kind of protect this, or more of a nicer situation is just to have 4 materials out, link 3 of them away into Power Code Talker, make sure you're having something pointing towards this arrow, and then you've got surprisingly high attack monster to attack over things. Next, Beat Cop from the Underworld. Very important to have in this deck for a good amount of protection for your field spell. Getting 2 monsters with different names that are dark is quite easy to do, even with the Sky Striker, Kagari, and the token. As long as you have the field spell up, you suddenly now have material for this and everything. And for best results, be able to tribute your opponent's monster to protect your field spell, which is going to be quite annoying for them. Then Wee Witch's Apprentice. Not ideal, but I like the fact that you can give a boost to your monsters, and kind of like when Mrs. Radiance first came out, you're like, well, at least if it is destroyed in some sort of way, you can get something back, which is hopefully worth your time on summon next time. Then Nightmare Phoenix, just good for back row removal. Nightmare Cerberus, yeah, sometimes it's hard to get over stuff with special summon, so that's why I'm dedicating a extra deck slot to this. You're not going into the extra deck constantly, so I think it's worth it for that. And then also you have quite a few arrows that are pointing down to make this justified. Then we've got Sky Striker Ace Kigari, just for that loop of the token. That's all it's here for. I really wish I had Engage, but that would also make the deck a bit bigger. I'd have to really think hard about what am I taking out in response. Then good old Link Karibo for that one Steam token. But it does come up a decent amount just because Steam the Cloak is fairly easy to access. Link Spider for your tokens if you need to make sure that you've got an effect monster instead of just tokens for material. Dragon of the Swamp. Don't go into this all that often because I'd much rather go into the Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, but it's a good target, especially for the fact that your opponent cannot target this card or monsters on the field with the same attribute as this card, and the fact that you can just, it's already dark, but you're also able to change it if you somehow don't have the field spell out. Yeah, that can actually help you in a couple unexpected ways depending on the situation. We've got Mirror Force Dragon, went over this before, 2 Starving Venom Fusion Dragons, so great with Super Poly, it's just ridiculous. Super Poly will probably be hit on the ban list just because so many people are angry about it. If it's gone, I understand. Will this deck be a lot less powerful without it? Sure, but we'll adapt to that later should it come up. And then Dark Strike Fighter. I couldn't think of another thing for the extra deck with this. Sure, it could be another Link 4 that's stronger, but really when you're just sort of caring about taking down all your opponent's resources, being able to really just have the board constantly wiped out by Bomber Dragon is nice. And otherwise, I would say Dark Strike Fighter. Technically, you do have a tuner at the very start. We, just have a tuner, level 3, got some level 4s or something like that. It's possible to come up. Just be aware, though, there is a restriction on this. You gotta do it in the clunky way, because otherwise, if this card is... Okay, let's see. This card's in your graveyard, you can tribute 1 monster, special summon this card from your graveyard. Good deal. You can only use this effect once per duel. That's fine, that's why I'm only running 1. If this card is summoned this way, is used as a synchro material monster. All of the synchro monsters must be Blackwing monsters. Yeah, that's not going to happen in this deck, so just be aware that you're not, running into conflict with this. But in the situation, should it come up, that's nice. I've heard people say, oh, why not run into Strudo? And I'm saying, because this deck needs to last a long time to at least, begin to stabilize itself as a control deck. Because it's not Ultrageist or something like that, which is arguably, certainly been proven to be a more popular meta control deck. So you're going to need your life points, and as well, cutting it in half just to do a bit of burn and yes, a tribute for this, in my opinion, is not worth it from the experiments I've done. So that's just my personal findings. Definitely let me know what you guys think of this deck. The fact I went out of my way to, be having sleeves for this and everything that my good friend Kevin got for me from Taiwan and everything is pretty excellent. I'm definitely proud of this deck for everything that's capable of, and it's just so much fun to play with. I find it's very important to know the rules about tributing and cost fairly well, because I definitely stumbled through that initially when I was first beginning with the deck, but I think I'm at a point now where I'm able to utilize it to much better potential and everything, and also just having, a spell speed 4 to give it a bit of a boost is definitely helping it, and I think it's able to make it a much better contender than what it was before, but who knows what the future holds. As of now, I'm quite happy with the deck. Please let me know in the comments what you guys think of this. If there's any tech choices you'd recommend, even just share the paint or something like that. I've seen people suggesting when the deck first came out, and it's fluctuated back and forth. I can see the merits for it, but I do love enemy control a little bit more just for the flexibility of going, first or second, depending on the die roll. But that's basically wrapping up for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.